Hello, friends. Welcome into Seattle Seahawks Today. I am Tom Downey, and thanks to the Russell Wilson trade, the Seahawks have a first-round pick this year, a top 10 selection, no less. So today's video is about taking a look at some potential draft targets for Seattle in round one. The draft capital has now drastically changed for this organization. They've got three top 42 picks. They've got a third-rounder as well. They've got a fourth-round pick, 2 fifth-rounders, and a seventh-round selection. So from going near the bottom of draft capital to being a little bit above average. Now, team needs have changed. You cut Bobby Wagner, you trade away Russell Wilson, you add Shelby Harris, you add Drew Lock and Noah Fant. Tight end's not that important anymore. D-line is probably a bit less important on the interior, but QB and linebacker are now glaring needs for this organization. So before we break down my list of candidates, and we will begin with QBs, of course, who should Seattle draft at number 9 overall? Let me know in the comments section what player, or if you want to go players, that's fine with me. You've got your eye on in the comments right now. All right, Malik Willis, and we'll spend more time on future videos about all of these guys as we get closer to the draft time. Malik Willis out of Liberty. Do you want the upside prospect? This is your guy. This is a player who has an incredible arm, fantastic athletic ability, but is not consistent yet. If you want to throw him to the Wolves year one, expect a lot of growing pains. If you want to give him some time to grow, that's fine as well. If you make Willis your first-round pick, you have to give him time. You cannot expect him to instantly be Justin Herbert or even a Dak Prescott. That's an unrealistic expectation for a player who, although has apparently interviewed well, who is my QB1, needs time to grow. He was bad down the stretch at Liberty. Did not play well over his final month and change. Because of that, got to be patient with him. Now, if you want to try to contend with a rookie QB, Kenny Pickett might make the most sense. Is his arm elite? No. Is his hand size good? Also no. But he still produced very well at Pitt. He reminds me of a Teddy Bridgewater of sorts, maybe in part because he likes to wear the two gloves just like Teddy did. I think this is a low-end starting caliber QB. But for what the Seahawks, I think, want to do with Pete Carroll now with a run-first offense, utilizing a game manager QB might not be the worst thing. Now, Matt Corral's been linked in large part because, Pete Carroll was talking to Lane Kiffin and Corral. I don't like him at number 9. Frankly, all these QBs have round 2 grades from me. Maybe he slides to round 2. It's probably asking for way too much, given the way the QB market is. Everything about his game is quick. Quick reads, because they ran a half-read offense at Ole Miss. It's not useful for evaluating how QBs get through progressions. But his release is quick. His arm is solid. He's got good athletic ability as well. Get him in round 2, I'm on board. Round 1, I really don't like that pick. The 3 QBs I think make the most sense for Seattle are these 3. Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, and Matt Corral. I think Pickett and Corral are more accurate, but Willis has more upside than those 2. And maybe you want to just go all in and gamble on Willis. Or maybe you kick the can down the road and don't invest in a QB this year. Some other names. Desmond Ridder, he's actually my QB3 over Matt Corral. I like a lot of his pre-snap stuff, his processing there in terms of pre-snap. Sam Howell reminds me a lot of Baker Mayfield. They look similar, too, with the beard and the hair and the shorter, stocky frame. And then Carson Strong's got real medical issues as far as that knee is, it might not be good. Now, if you want more Seahawks draft updates on prospects and mock drafts as well. Time for a new 7-round mock draft with a first-round pick in tow for Seattle. Hit that big red button and subscribe. And we're always looking to add more people to our first commenter club. Some recent videos. The March 9th video. The real Yannick. Shout out to you, my friend. The Bobby Wagner cut news video. Hawks Country. The Russ trade. Instinct Live. March 7th, March 6th. Soy Saucing and Corey Deal. Thank you guys so much for watching and commenting and being part of the First Comment Club and the Noti Gang here on Seattle Seahawks Today. Let's talk offensive line now. There are a couple names I think make sense. I don't think Ike Mekwonu, Evan Neal are going to be there. The next best tackle for me is Charles Cross. This is a pass-protecting focused left tackle. Not the biggest guy. There are some run-blocking concerns with Charles Cross. He's a good football player, though. It would be a good pick by Seattle. You could bring back Dwayne Brown for a year if you even want to, and then still make Cross your long-term left tackle, especially if you're okay with rebuilding. My suspicion is that for teams like Seattle, Trevor Penning might be a little bit higher. I might try him at right tackle. His play style fits there. Bigger and fatter in the size, a more athletic player than Charles Cross. Freak athlete. Plays through the whistle and sometimes too long. He's a very penalized player, but he tested awesome. Coaches are going to love the attitude. He's a mean football player that he plays with. I think Pete Carroll will fall in love with him. Not sure he's there, though. And also, like I mentioned Evan Neal, Ike Mekwonu. Never say never. The NFL draft is weird, but I also wouldn't get my hopes up for either of those two players out of Alabama and NC State, respectively. Tyler Linderbaum out of Iowa. I am a huge fan of his. I think Linderbaum is a top 10, almost top 5 prospect in this year's class, but he's not going to be for everybody. He is undersized. His 290 listed weight is very accurate. He doesn't have long arms. He is not a fit in a gap or a power or a gap power scheme. That does not fit his play style. He's going to be for zone blocking schemes only. Seattle wants to run that as they begin to really, I think, change a lot of their offense overall. So we'll see what the exact game plan is there. If you want to run that, add Linderbaum. I think that would be a great pick at number 9. I think that would solidify your linchpin at the center spot for years to come. It's a better prospect than Max Unger was coming out of college. But maybe Seattle could trade the pick. Maybe they move down and acquire extra draft capital. I'm okay with that idea, and I want to hear from you on it. Should the Seahawks trade the number 9 overall pick? Type in T for trade it or type in K for keep it. One of my dream picks here, speaking of a little KT option, Kayvon Thibodeaux out of Oregon. He might slide. There are concerns about his off the field, the ego that he has. It's just not a big deal. You're a football superstar. Of course you have an ego. He cares a lot about his brand. None of that stuff matters if he plays good football, and he played good football at Oregon. He is a very good athlete. I think some people didn't like him to do drills at the Combine. I can see why that was an issue given all the noise around KT. Take him at 9. It is a steal. He is a top 3 player in this year's class. The big riser here, Travon Walker out of Georgia. Remember, they're going to more of a 3-4 scheme. Walker can fit that. He is a Rashawn Gary prospect to me. In unbelievable athletic ability. This kid was built in a lab to play football. Massive size, insane athletic ability to accompany. He can bend, he can dip. The traits are all there, but he's a projection. He hasn't proved it yet at the edge rusher spot. Now, Aiden Hutchinson's not going to be there. His teammate, David Ojabo, might be there. In fact, I think will be there. The production was awesome. He is far more advanced than you would think for a guy with only 1 year of actually playing football on his resume. The production was there as a pass rusher. The traits are there as a pass rusher. He's not there yet as a run defender. He might be a DPR, the designated pass rusher only, his first year in the NFL. Another riser, Jermaine Johnson. Again, a fallback option if you just really want to get an edge rusher in this year's class. Johnson technically gets to count as one of those Georgia players because he transferred from Georgia to FSU. By the way, he was in Last Chance U, Season 4 at Independence Community College there. Massive breakout year. I didn't see elite twitch or burst on the film. Tested pretty incredibly, though, at the Combine, as everyone did. Got to work more on his hands. Edge setter in the run game. Some of his best abilities is being able to be an edge. He reminds me of DeMarcus Lawrence in that regard. Has that kind of Euro step pass rush move that Tank Lawrence has as well. I don't love him at number 9. Trade down, prime candidate for me. Deal alert for you Seahawks fans. This t-shirt combo pack is still 25% off, but they're getting lighter and lighter with their supply. Head over to chatsports.com/Seahawks combo. We'll put that link in the comment section and in the description. All right, some more defensive players here, 5 in total. Devin Lloyd, Bobby Wagner's gone. This would be your replacement. Now, Lloyd did not test off the charts at the NFL Combine, further proving the comparisons for Darius Leonard are actually pretty accurate. He's got great size. The film is fast, and that's always more important than what the testing ends up being, especially when talking about a player of Lloyd's caliber. He can run, he can blitz, and he can cover. I actually like him better at weak side linebacker. Seattle, though, would play him at the Mike position. Maybe they wait till round 2 and find an off-ball linebacker instead. Let's talk corners. Seattle doesn't invest at this position very heavily. I think they should consider it, however. How about Derek Stingley? He might slide to you because, well, the foot's a medical red flag. He hasn't played football in 2 years. The last time we saw him out there, this guy was a superstar at corner. As a true freshman, 2019, under 37% completion rate. Yes, he allowed a bunch of yards and some touchdowns, but he had a bunch of interceptions, a bunch of pass breakups. He was the best corner on that LSU team, and guys like Christian Fulton have already proven to be number 1 corner as far as I'm concerned. If you get him at 9, I ain't going to complain. I actually think it's more likely that Stingley's on the board than Sauce Gardner. He fits the more typical Seahawks mold. If they were still coveting those long, lanky corners, man, they'd be drooling over Sauce Gardner. Not so sure they are anymore. Big size, big frame, very leggy, high cut, has long legs down there, long arms as well. Tested great, answered any speed concerns that were out there for him. Never allowed a touchdown at college. That'll change in the NFL, but if you get him at 9, that's a home run pick. The local kid, if you are trading down or committed to going corner in round 1, about Trent McDuffie. Now, his size is a bit of a red flag. He's got short arms, going to ding him in the eyes. A lot of prospects, but kid's sticky. He does not allow a lot in terms of coverage and space at college. He is going to be a really damn good corner. You want to take him at 9? I think it's a bit early, but not that early. And then my number 1 player in this year's draft. Would Seattle spend a first-round pick on Kyle Hamilton? I don't think so, but he's my number 1 guy, so I want to include him here at least briefly. He's good at football, guys. He didn't have a great 40-yard dash. The explosion is real. The size is just off the charts, incredible. He would be a home run fit in the Seattle Seahawks defense as a deep safety. I would do it if he were there at 9. Given the investment in Jamal Adams, probably don't do that type of route if you're Seattle. Plus, I think he's gone anyway. So what do you guys think? What should Seattle spend more of their picks on? Type in O for offense or D for defense. If you haven't already, folks, please subscribe to us here on Seattle Seahawks Today. Free videos every single day, and it's now a juicy offseason for Seattle. You're not going to want to miss out on all the chaos still to come around the Seahawks.